Welcome aboard. This is Fire Your MD Now. Call us at 866-582-9933. That's 866-582-9933. In order to talk to me live today, bring your tired, your wounded, your suffering, and we will see what we can do. And I know that I can do better than the MDs. That's just a given. I want to talk a little bit today about another in the many and varied subjects under the larger category of all of the stuff that you don't know, which is quite a lot of stuff, right? I know I can't speak Spanish. I know that. No, I can't fly an airplane. I know that. But there is some stuff that is so far outside of my knowledge base that, holy smokes, man, I didn't even know I didn't know that. And when you discover the stuff that you didn't know, you have a eureka moment. You have insight. It's a flash of insight. It's like, whoa, that's really cool kind of a thing, right? Well, let's talk about research. Let's talk about medical research. You know, we put physicians, researchers, anybody with a couple of initials after their name up on a higher pedestal than us for some ridiculous reason. You know, we've been enculturated to believe that the medical school, if you can make it through medical school, you must be a genius. Well, guess what? It's not true. We've been enculturated to believe, those scientists, they're smarter than we are. They're better people than we are. They know more than we do. Well, you know, their IQs might be higher, maybe not. Their perspective on life is certainly different. The scientists amongst us are, you know, the kids with the calculators and the pocket protectors in high school and college. Not a whole lot of street smarts there, right? Just a lot of book knowledge. And book knowledge, people that gravitate towards academia, generally speaking, there are exceptions which prove the rule in every facet of academia, but generally speaking, people that gravitate towards academia are cowardly. They are I don't want to say single-minded, they are conformists, cowardly conformists who they don't care about rocking the boat. They don't care about putting forth new ideas. They don't care about pushing the curve or thinking outside the box. They are concerned with conforming to the norm. That's what they're concerned with, conforming to the norm. For goodness sake, the guy that invented the sterile technique, the doctor that invented the sterile technique, was thrown out of medicine, bankrupted, and murdered because he had the ridiculously obscure, crazy notion that surgeons delivering babies should wash their hands before they delivered a baby. And for having that new and radical idea, which was outside of the accepted norm of medical treatment, he was, you know, virtually castrated by the powers that be, bankrupted, and they found him in his apartment, hung to death. Everybody thought it was suicide, but I don't. I'm pretty sure they killed him, although I have no evidence to back that fact up. My point is, it is easy to be a conformist, especially in academia, especially when it comes to science. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. Let's say that, you know, I just got a grant to study the negative effects of candida, right? Candida is a big problem. It's supposed to be a big problem in the world. I did a webinar on candida a couple of weeks ago. It's not a big problem. But, you know, I've collected money, and I want to see the net negative effects that the candida organism, it's a diploid fungus, it's a fungus or a yeast, depending on what part of the life cycle you see it in, what negative effects that has on the health of living biological systems. All right, so I get 100 monkeys. I get 100 monkeys, and I divide the population into two groups of 50, and I expose one group to the candida organism, and I expose the other group to a placebo. It's not a candida organism, okay? And I look at my results. Now, if I did not know that the population of monkeys that I was working with all had AIDS, They had all been infected with the immunodeficiency virus, a subset of HIV. They'd all had a virus in their body that was attacking their immune systems, making their immune systems weak. But they didn't have any really overt symptoms. They weren't bleeding from the gums. They didn't have big tumors. They weren't losing their hair. There was no untoward outward manifestations of the illness. But all of the monkeys, 100% of the population, all 100 monkeys have this virus in their body, which is weakening their immune system. So now I expose 50 of those monkeys to a large dose of Candida, large dose of the fungus or the yeast Candida. And guess what's going to happen? Because the monkey's immune system is compromised, 100% of the 50, all 50 are going to get a bad yeast infection. Some of them will die from it. This is what kills people that have AIDS. When HIV has gone to AIDS, AIDS means acquired immune deficiency syndrome. It means that their immune system is so weak that it cannot fight off stuff that your immune system and my immune system doesn't even think twice about. 85% of the people walking around have Candida living inside of them, which is a yeast or a fungus, depending on its life stage. We have it inside of us all of the time, 85% of us. But only a very small percentage of us actually have symptoms because of it. It actually becomes a problem in only a very small percentage of us. So if it was the yeast that was the problem, we would all be sick because it's inside of 85% of us. Well, 85% of us would be sick. But my point here with the research is, if the people conducting the research did not know that the monkeys were at a deficiency, if they did not know that the monkey's immune system, 100% of them were weak, they would not know that that information had corrupted their findings. And so they could make the determination, that Candida is one of the most dangerous, highly infectious diseases in the world, and we need to go on a worldwide campaign to eradicate the Candida organism, right? Because holy smokes, 100% of the monkeys that they exposed to it got infected. Bad infections by it. Now, they didn't get infected because they had Candida. They got infected because their immune system wasn't strong enough to fight off the Candida. So when you read research, they've just done research that shows sucralose will kill you. They've just done research that shows that too much vitamin D like David is going to be harmful. Or they've done research that shows that, methylparabens in cosmetics cause cancer. What they don't do, what they never do, because they are blind to it, is they never preload the subjects that they are testing with 100% of the nutrition that their bodies need to be strong and healthy. If I'm going to do research, let's say I'm trying to show the net negative effects of mercury, all right? I'm one of these people that I think mercury is a big problem, and I have to prove that it's a big problem. So if I was smart about it, what I would do is I would take 1,000 laboratory rats, and for 3 months, I would feed those laboratory rats 100% of the vitamins, minerals, essential fatty acids, and amino acids that their little bodies needed in order to be healthy. And I would give it to them in their food every day. Put it in their water every day. I would make sure that that cohort of laboratory rats was 100% completely, utterly nutrified. Their nutritional tanks were filled to the brim. And then I would cut the groups in half. I'd cut the group in half, and I would expose 50 of them to mercury, or half of 500 of them to mercury, and the other 500 I wouldn't expose to mercury, and then I would compare the results. But this is never, ever, ever done in the hollowed halls of modern science. Because MDs and PhDs, being reductionistic in their training and their orientation, have no appreciation, no understanding, no respect, no theoretical basis, no pragmatic basis, no knowledge base at all for the unbelievable importance of medical nutrition. They are blind to it. So therefore, all of the results from all of the research that they do will be biased beforehand. It's called an a priori bias. But it's an insidious thing because they don't even know that they're biased. And this is the problem. Because they're colorblind, but they don't know they're colorblind. And therefore, all of their research is skewed. And the results that they have determined from their research are inherently, academically incorrect. And yet, these are the people that we put up on the pedestal. These are the people that we do the Susan G. Komen March for the Cure for. These are the people that we do the let's find the cure for Alzheimer's. Oh, let's give those people our money. We are a ship of fools here in the United States, not only in our unquestioning allegiance to the MD and their ridiculous, old-fashioned, out-of-date, juvenile treatment strategies for chronic illness. Chronic illness, remember, chronic illness. But when it comes to research fellowships and PhDs and people working in academia, we just give them money hand over fist too, even though in the last 100 years they haven't even been able to come up with a cure for heartburn. Under their watch, cancer has remained unchanged. Under their watch, heart disease has remained unchanged. Under their watch, autism has increased, Alzheimer's has increased, and our life expectancies have decreased. We need to stop giving these people money. It's as simple as that. That's the only way we're going to be able to get on the other side of this. So that's why this radio show exists. Tell your friends and family about it, ladies and gentlemen. Tell your church members, your community members. Tell everybody you know about this radio show. Because I'm here to lift you up into the field of knowledge that you didn't even know you didn't know about. Talk about not knowing what you don't know. It's a big deal here, man. We trust, this is the biggest problem that we have, we trust that the people that we go to for our health care know what's best for us. That is the assumption that we make. This has been ingrained in us, right, since childhood. Oh, you got to trust the doctor. Oh, you got to do what the doctor says, for goodness sake. The doctor has legal powers, that most normal people don't. The doctor can do things to you that most people could never even possibly dream of. We have, and this is necessary. I think it's entirely correct to have medical people have a certain amount of rights and privileges and abilities that lay people don't. But our trust that the MD is the pinnacle of medicine, and that our MD knows everything that there is to know about medicine regarding our health is ludicrous. It's misplaced trust. Your MD does not know what's best for you. Your MD knows what your MD has been trained in. And what your MD has been trained in is one very small subset of medical science. It's one eeny, weeny, teeny piece of medical science. But it has been pitched to you as the full Monty, the whole thing. And everybody else shouldn't even be paid attention to. And this is why we have a giant healthcare crisis in this country. This is why obesity is on the rise. This is why type 2 diabetes is on the rise. This is why autism and Alzheimer's are eclipsing everything else. This is why infertility is on the rise. This is why life expectancies are getting less. This is why everybody's sick. This is why there are heart transplants still happening. For goodness sake, this is why people are still getting fake knees and fake shoulders. For goodness sake, it's never ending. It's going to continue to happen because these people don't know the first thing about health and wellness. And the first thing about health and wellness is that your body has a God-given ability to fix itself. It does. MDs are in their philosophical training of illness. MDs don't believe in God. They don't. Now, I don't want you to confuse the concept of God with religion. That's not what I'm talking about. Religions are man-made institutions which try to interpret what the divine is up to. Now, whether they're correct on that or not is a subject of lengthy debate and many wars over time. It's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about the existence and the presence of the divine, the existence and the presence of the metaphysical. Your MD, being trained in a Newtonian scientific reductionistic methodology, has been trained professionally to believe that if it cannot be measured, it does not exist. Since nobody's ever found God, since nobody's ever dissected the soul out of somebody's body, since nobody's ever visualized the soul with an MRI or a CT scan or an ultrasound, therefore, to the MD, it doesn't exist. And if it does not exist, therefore, it can have zero impact on your health. This is one of life's greatest ironies. You know, medical doctors can be extremely religious, devout people, but when they're at work, they're atheists. You know, it's like being a Democrat at home and a communist at work. It's 100% hypocritical. Nobody calls them on it. Everybody gives them a walk on it. And when their therapeutics fail because of their color blindness to all things having to do with medical nutrition and all things metaphysical, we give them a walk, we give them a pass. For goodness sake, ladies and gentlemen, your MD supports and promotes and benefits directly from a medical industry that's the leading cause of death in the United States. Stop giving them a pass. Start to question them. Start to ask polite, hard, unyielding questions. Oh, my type 2 diabetes is genetic, doctor? Really? Which gene is it? I'd really like to know because I'm giving you my calculations about $1,000 a minute. You're telling me it's genetic? I want you to tell me which gene it is. Oh, you say I'm obese because my stomach's too big or because I have a stomach? And you need to cut my stomach out? You need to do a gastric bypass? So if it's my stomach that's a problem, why isn't everybody obese? Oh, you're telling me I have arthritis because I'm getting older. Well, what about my cousin in Lithuania who's 85 years old and he doesn't have arthritis? What's going on here? Ladies and gentlemen, wake up, snap out of it, take the red pill, pop out of the matrix, fire your MD now. Going right to the phones. Richard is calling with a question about digestion. Richard, you are live with Dr. Glidden.
Yes, sir. Andy Anderson suggested I give you a call to see if we could get set up with a program here or whatever. My main issues are just digestion. I've had a long time problem with digestion, even since I was a kid. And mainly just feeling really poorly, seemingly requiring, 10 to 12 hours of sleep a night and just pretty much just feel like garbage all the time.
Yeah, you're running out of steam, brother. Your body's running on empty, and it's a good metaphor in this regard would be, an automobile that's never been tuned up and that has really crappily, bad, low-grade gasoline put in it, or maybe even the wrong type of gasoline. It's going to run. It's going to move you down the road, but it's really going to be not that pleasant of a ride. And really, the nuts and bolts of the car are pretty okay. Really, all that's needed is a little bit of a fluid replacement here, a little bit of a tune-up there, and good gasoline, and then you're off to the races. So now, there are two components to everybody's health. First component is we have to clean the diet up so that you're not eating food that's hurting you unwittingly, number one. And everybody has to do that. But people who have a digestive issue, people whose center of gravity of their illness is in the digestive tract, they really need to do that. Because, one of their weak links is their digestive tract. So if they eat food that's bad for them, it's not only going to hurt them systemically, but it's also going to hurt them in the gut. Kind of like a double whammy. So really, we have to clean your diet up, number one. Now, the best way to do that, easiest and cheapest way, go to fireyourmdnow.com, fireyourmdnow.com, and on the front page, right up there in the upper right-hand corner, there's a place to opt in to my free email newsletter. So just give me your name and your email address, opt in, and once you've opted in, the system will automatically shoot you an email which has a link to see two things. One of them is my video called Against the Grain, and it walks you through why wheat, barley, rye, and oats are bad for you and why you need to stop eating them. And it will also give you a link to download the document Good Food, Bad Food. So we have identified 10 foods that everybody in the world needs to stop eating. Everybody. So we'll send you that list for free. We'll send you a link to a video you can watch for free that kind of explains it to help get you started. So that's the first step, cleaning your diet up, identifying and eliminating the 10 bad foods. That's number one. Number two, you need to provide your body with the nutritional raw materials that it needs in order to fix itself. Because, baby, you're running on empty. And we also need to provide your digestive tract with a little extra TLC, right? We need to give it a little extra nutrition, a little bit extra stuff in order to support and promote the self-regulation and the overall health of the gastrointestinal tract. Now, because healing is easy, and because the MDs have had everybody convinced in this country that healing is a sophisticated, complicated process with Latin names and big, gigantic terms that nobody can understand, and it can only be administered in high-tech, multi-million-dollar hospitals, we have gone exactly the other way. We have simplified it for you. So after $25 million of federally funded research, 60 years of combined clinical experience with naturopathic physicians, licensed naturopathic physicians treating real patients in real time with real medical nutrition, we have come up with something called the Healthy Digestion Pack. We make it easy, man. It's the Healthy Digestion Pack. Guess what? We have a healthy joint pack. Guess what we use that for? We have a healthy blood sugar pack. Guess what we use that for? We have a healthy brain and heart pack. Guess what we use that for, right? So you need one healthy digestion pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. That's my recommendation. One healthy digestion pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. Now, in addition to that, as kind of the extra TLC that I'm talking about, I would also purchase something called Maquis Plus. That's a liquid supplement. It's a superfruit made from the maquis berry. You spell that M-A-Q-U-I, Maquis. Maquis Plus, it's a combination of maquis juice, which is loaded with antioxidants, and aloe vera. Aloe vera is extremely soothing and healing to mucous membranes and the tissue that's in the gut. So I would do one bottle of Maquis Plus per 100 pounds of body weight per month, one healthy digestion pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month, plus the Good Food, Bad Food diet. Now, as long as you eliminate the 10 bad foods on the Good Food, Bad Food diet, I don't care what else you eat. You can eat whatever else you want as long as it's not one of those 10 foods. And when you clean your diet up and take those nutritional supplements, you will notice incremental improvement. You know, and give it 21 days. But most people feel something much sooner than that. Most people feel a noticeable difference within 7 days. And if lack of energy is one of your big bugaboos, then, man, you're going to feel a noticeable lift in your energy by day 7. And this is what we lean on here. We lean on results. So visit fireyourmdnow.com, sign up for the email list, get the free information, clean your diet up, take those nutritional supplements, and, baby, we are off to the races. Richard, thank you so much for the call. Lillian's up next. Lillian with back pain. Hello, Lillian. You are live.
This is you.
Dr. Glidden. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Lillian, how are you?
Well, I could be better, doctor.
Well, all right. Tell me your trials and tribulations. What's going on?
Well, it's been a few months now. I've had this pain in my lower left back and down to my leg, the left leg, all the way to the ankle at times, but it's mostly from the knee up. and then to the lower back, and it's not getting any better, and it's making me. I have problems walking, and
that's no fun, is it?
No, it's not.
Now, have you been to anybody? Has anybody looked at this? Anybody checked it out? Anybody given you a heads up on what they think it is?
I had some X-rays taken in April, and they said that it was a disc pressing on a nerve, whatever that means.
Okay. Are you shorter than you used to be, Lillian?
Oh, I don't know that. I
don't know if you've lost a little height over the time, right? I don't really know, right?
Oh, I imagine so. Don't you think at my age?
well, okay. So the reason that I'm asking you that is because that's one of the characteristic signs and symptoms of a degenerative disc problem, is that you've actually lost, 1 or 2 or 1.5 inches or whatever. So what I'm going to recommend, how much do you weigh, Lillian?
I weigh 125.
Okay, and how tall are you?
Oh, I'm about 5'5".
Okay, and how old are you?
87.
God bless you. Okay, good. So here's what I'm going to recommend that you do. We need to give your body the nutrition that it needs, the raw materials that it needs to fix itself, because your body is trying to fix itself. Your body is trying to maintain its health. Your body wants to fix itself. Your body wants to fix its health. But it can't, only because your body's run out of the essential nutrition that it needs, and it's not in the food that you're eating. This is one of the big problems in the world, Lillian. I don't know who started this rumor. Maybe it was one of your friends. I don't know. I don't think so, but you never know. Somebody started the rumor that the only thing that people need to do to be healthy is eat from the 4 food groups every day, and that's nonsense. Because it is 100% impossible to give your body the stuff it needs to keep itself healthy just from eating food. You can't do it. So you need to start to take some nutritional supplements. I don't care if you're 7 years old. I don't care if you're 87 years old. Once you start to give your body the stuff that it needs, it will bounce back. So here's what I'm going to recommend you do. You have something to write with, Lillian?
I want to tell you, doctor, I've been taking longevity nutrition for 5 years now. Okay,
well, tell me what you've been doing.
Well, I take the glucogel. I take 10 of them a day. I take the EFAs, 4 a day. I take selenium, 6 a day. Sweeties, 4 a day. I take OsteoFX.
How much?
And the minerals.
How much the OsteoFX?
I take 1 ounce a day.
Okay. And you take 10 of the glucogel?
I do.
Okay. So there's only 2 possibilities here, Lillian. The only time that medical nutrition doesn't work is if either you're not taking the right stuff or you're not taking enough of the stuff, okay? Or you're not absorbing what you're taking. Now, you're really pretty close here to taking enough of the stuff for your body. We're going to have to up the ante with the glucogel a little bit, and we're going to have to up the ante with the OsteoFX Plus. But probably the bigger problem here is that your system is not absorbing it efficiently. So this, of course, begs the question, are you eating food that's made from wheat, barley, rye, or oats?
Well, I stay away from it, but I have to say that I might eat a piece of bread a day, like for toast in the morning. Yeah,
okay. And do you have any other types of grains like rice and beans?
No, I don't eat those, no.
All right, but you have a piece of toast in the morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what did you have for dinner last night?
Last night I had, I went out to dinner, I had, I did have a hot dog last night. So I did have a hot dog.
Okay. Yeah, and did you have was there a bun on the hot dog?
Yes, that's what I mean, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And
So,
then
see, you're
there's
eating this stuff, and you don't even know that you're eating it, right?
Yes, I know that, I shouldn't be eating it. But.
All right, so you need to stop eating that stuff, because if you eat that stuff, the nutritional products are not going to work. It's kind of like pouring water into a bucket that has holes in it, right? We're going to pour it in the top, it's going to leak out the bottom. So you really need to bring yourself up to speed with no wheat, no barley, no rye, no oats. And I don't even want you to look at that stuff, Lillian. Just from now until Christmas, I don't want you to have any of that stuff whatsoever. I want you to increase your glucogel to 15 a day, 5 with breakfast, 5 with lunch, 5 with dinner. And I want you to increase the OsteoFX Plus to 1 ounce twice a day. Put it in a little bit of orange juice and slam it down. 1 ounce of the OsteoFX Plus twice a day and 15 of the glucogel a day. Clean your diet up. Keep taking everything else the same way. And call me back in 2 months. Later, Shannon is on the line with a question about a rheumatic lung, I think. Shannon, Dr. Glidden here. Welcome aboard.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. I have a question. First, a little question. Are you going to have your webinar this evening on Introduction to Longevity? Because if so, I'd like to.
Yeah, they're
I'd like
Tuesday
to join
nights
it.
now. Yeah. We've switched from Monday night to Tuesday night. Send me an email to info@drglidden.com. And I'll give you information about how to hook up to the webinar, okay?
Okay. Well, the reason why I called, MD's murdered my mother, and I'll never get her back, and I'll never get to see her face again.
Yeah.
And she had rheumatoid lung, and she couldn't breathe because the doctor told me that she had arthritis in her lungs, which they couldn't expand and contract, and she couldn't breathe, and so her perfect little heart had a heart attack, and then she was gone.
How old was she?
68.
Yeah, 68. That's
and I wanted to ask you about
tragedy.
this because my lungs are hot, and I never told anybody this, and I went to see an acupuncturist, and without even telling him, he said, your lungs are hot, and I couldn't even believe he said it, and I feel like there's this heat radiating out of my lungs. I thought, oh, is this going to take me too? So I wanted to know your opinion about this.
All right, very good. So I appreciate the call. Thank you so much for calling. Don't forget to send me that email, and I'll hook you up with the webinar tonight. Now, you don't need to worry about this because MDs make stuff up all of the time. And, because they've got the white coats and the stethoscopes and the multi-million-dollar office facility, we don't question what they do. So they come up with wackadoodle terms like, rheumatoid lung. She has arthritis in the lungs. What the heck does that mean? You can't have arthritis in the lungs because arthritis, by definition, means inflammation of a joint. There's no joint in the lung. Yeah, it's just crazy. That's like saying, you've got eczema in your kidney. Well, you can't have eczema in your kidney. You can have eczema on your skin. That's like saying you have, psoriasis in your brain. Well, you can't have psoriasis in your brain. You can have psoriasis on your skin. It's just crazy, number one. Number two, these conditions are not genetic. Number three, the only reason that somebody's lungs or kidneys or heart or colon or pancreas or whatever start to break down is because, number one, you are unwittingly eating food that's hurting your body every day. You don't know that you're doing it. So you need to stop it and clean up your diet. So dial in the complete and utter total abstinence from the 10 bad foods. Dial that in immediately, number one. Number two, provide your body every day with 100% of its essential nutrient needs. And the best way, of course, to do that is 1 healthy start pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month, 1 ultimate selenium bottle per 50 pounds of body weight per month. And then once you've done that, because the lungs are problematic right now, we want to give you a little extra support, nutritional support, to help your body support and promote the health of its lungs, and we do that by adding extra essential fatty acids. So Prohoba Omega is a good way to go. EFA Plus is a good way to go, or the EFA at the 180 count is a good way to go. Get 1 bottle a month of each and see which one makes you feel better, but you want to add that to the mix here. The Healthy Start Pack, plus the selenium, plus the extra essential fatty acids. Dial the diet in, and look, just pay no attention to what these knuckleheads have to say to you about arthritis in the lungs. For goodness sake, they made that one up. Sorry to hear about your mother. That's why I get up in the morning. That's why I do what I do, because we are suffering in this country for no good reason. We're suffering in this country for lack of knowledge. Log on to Fire Your MD now, ladies and gentlemen. Increase your knowledge base. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. I'll see you tomorrow.